Thank you for taking some time for yourself. And I wonder if you can go all in on doing nothing. Perfect. Aware of your chest expanding and relaxing as you go deeper into this experience. And I'm curious if you can take a lethargic breath in and a drowsy breath out. Perfect. As you go deeper into inactivity. And while you're here, in perfect inactivity now, I really never know what level of experience clients are capable of giving themselves, leaving the world's baloney out there to spend some quality time here. And as you're here, existing in this agreeable state known as existence, I wonder when the start of your breath begins, and you can allow the backs of your legs to be supported by the chair, supporting you to go deeper into this experience. And if you were to imagine clapping your hands now, and never really know if clients focus on the sound, the action of their hands, or something else. But what I do know is the air's escaping, absorbing. And while you're here, inhaling, exhaling, some people believe that algae, pollen, tiny spores, and seeds from outer space, and planets that might once have existed, all those seeds and spores are drifting across high winds from far-reaching galaxies. And some of those spores slow down on the planets or on the moon, some here on Earth, and the winds carry very distinctive molecular signatures of scent, like the scent of home-cooked food, the scent of an attractive mate. And in some ancient traditions it was believed if you ate a sacred meal, you could reap the rewards of the wind, riding the chariots of the wind. Now, I'm not sure you're aware how special you are. You're here breathing this air all around your body, and this breath just might take a few weeks to a month to move all around the world. The same air that Plato, Einstein, pygmies to Eskimos once breathed. And here you are, not as a water breather or a fire breather, but a breather of the spirit. And in the grand architecture of the cosmos, there's no one else exactly the same as you. No one else has your understanding of the world, your DNA, your wisdom. And until the end of time, no one will ever be exactly the same as you. That's how special you are. And in the past, you've lost your appetite, haven't been eating, or something else. But anyone in your situation would completely understand. It's got nothing to do with you. There's a process to being different. And in a moment, I'm going to share with you a few stories. And at first you might be thinking, why am I sharing with you these stories? But your subconscious mind will be listening and do something wonderful for you a little later on. But first, if you can remember a time when something was worthy of your applause. And I don't know if it was a goal at a football game, a home run at a baseball game, attending the ballet, or something else. But what I do know is, it's a magical feeling of satisfaction. How wonderful those moments in life can be sometimes. And maybe you've read the famous spiritual book about the game of golf called Golf in the Kingdom. And as Michael Murphy mentioned, we play the game at many levels. We go in and out of extraordinary states of experience. And how deeply we do depends on us. Michael likes to incorporate principles of the Japanese martial arts Aikido in his game of golf known as blending, utilizing his strength with his club, ball and terrain, adapting his swing to every situation. Because he's learned to go with the dynamics of air, wind and slope, utilizing the energies of the situation to help rather than hinder. And to find an original golf swing in every situation, never using the same swing more than once. And he would try to cross his senses differently, try and see and feel things at the same time. A mingling of the senses was one of the pleasures of practice. For example, seeing and feeling the club and ball as one unbroken field, or hearing the waves of the ocean while hitting a bag of practice balls. And it reminds me of a very passionate Italian man who loves food. He loves long social dining, taking his time with eating. And he gave a talk at the Erickson Foundation in Phoenix, Arizona in 2019 on eating disorders. And as you already know, loss of appetite is very different to an eating disorder. But this man, Camilio Laredo, just might be of interest to you, because he's right. As soon as you think of eating, we salivate. And through his research of working with bulimics and anorexics, he realised they both didn't taste the food. The ability they had was lost. But once they were treated, they were able to enjoy food and enjoy sex and enjoy moments of life. Because that's very difficult if they've lost the taste, because food is their enemy. It's dangerous and they can lose control, and they want their body to be different from what it actually is. And he would want his patients to have the pleasure of tasting, even if it was with a little food. His contract with his patients would be, okay, I'll give you a tiny bit of food, as long as you enjoy it. Really taste it. Very well, take your time. And he uses a real chef who prepares wonderful food, but very little portions. And he teaches his clients how to taste food. For example, if you eat cherry, the fruit, it's very sweet. And when you eat seafood, it's very light and salty. But if you eat cherry with seafood, the taste becomes bitter. And it turns out food pairing is a science. And maybe you already know food pairing can be congruent, share the same components, or complementary and share few components. And it turns out vanilla in ice cream complements saffron found in root beer. And who would have thought that an ice cream float is the perfect pairing, because the creamy ice cream is cut by the acidity of root beer. Or pork liver and jasmine flowers share the same compound indole. You can find this pairing at the 3 Michelin star restaurant The Fat Duck in the UK. Or the aroma of banana and pear is a compound called isoamyl acetate. They have the same flavour compounds. And if you were to be taken on a tour by Sabra's chef Mary Dawnwright, she takes her guests through hummus tasting, and she asks them to hold their nose, to roll the hummus around on their tongue, help identify the flavours, and then to let go of their nose, so the tiny airborne molecules of aroma head up the nasal passage and hit the sensory receptors. And they could taste the hummus with their nose pinch. But it was different when they let it go. You can try this at home with peanut butter, or the home-cooked dishes you know you love. And maybe in the past, you were trying to eat to live. But a wise man once said, to understand bad taste, one must have very good taste. No wonder how that feels in your saliva, the back of your tongue, the air in your lungs expanding, relaxing. I don't know if you feel curious, satisfied, or something else. But what I do know is, when you get a taste for life, the rest of the world really is never the same. And the truth is, you and I both know, there are so many aspects to life. Personal growth, relationships, attitude, career, health, family, friends, finances. But so much more than that. Because once you live a good story, you get a taste for a kind of meaning in life. You can't go back to being normal. And as Eleanor Roosevelt once said, the purpose of life is to live it, to taste the experience to the utmost, to reach out eagerly without fear for richer experiences. No wonder how it will feel 10 years from now into the future, because the fact is I really won't know how well you tasted life. And when you're ready to take this feeling, spirit or something else, back into your external world, you can. Stretch out, wriggle your fingers and toes, and open your eyes. Welcome back. You're perfect, just as you are.